Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to invest 1000 euro into the S&P 500. Let's do it! There are all these videos on YouTube talking about how it should be investing in the S&P 500, and inevitably what happens in this video is that somebody will put up a chart and say, you know, if you consistently invest in the S&P 500 in 10, 20, 30 years, this is how much money you will have, and it looks great because in theory it is great. The S&P 500 in fact has 8% annual return, and on a long run this return can generate a lot of wealth. What's hard about those videos is that they often talk about it in theory, and talking in theory is really easy, but actually having the courage to step forth and do it can sometimes be a little bit scarier. Well, in this video I'm going to actually do it. Every single month I am going to invest 1000 euro into the S&P 500 no matter what. It doesn't matter if the market is up or down, if things are completely booming or totally contracting. No matter what is going on in the world, I'm going to do the investment, and then, a few days after the investment is made, I will put a video, and over the months and the years as this thing progresses, we will be able to see how our investment is actually returning, as opposed to just theoretically what should be doing. Really quick, if you do not know what the S&P 500 is, it's a financial index that tracks the 500 largest companies in the United States. So when you buy it, you are sort of buying a little piece of these all 500 companies. It is weighted so that the largest companies, you know, companies like Apple and Google's, you have a little bit more of, and the little companies you have a little less of. So it's a very good way to get a broad market exposure without the volatility of an individual company going up and down. Since the beginning of the year, I am investing every month at least 1000 euro in the S&P 500, no matter what, and running my own saving challenge to reach the first 100,000 as fast as I can. So far, I have been able to get even faster than planned, and I have already invested into the S&P 500 more than 15,000 euro, with a return of about 6.7%, and more than 8,000 euro collected in the Trade Republic cash deposit with a 3.5% annual return. All my successes, fails and troubles are collected in this series of videos which I post every single month. Why I picked up 1000 euro is because this is a value that in the time interval of 1 month makes me feel comfortable about, and I know I can afford. Because this is the thing that it really matters here, right? As this thing progresses, life happens. Things comes up, both good and bad things. And all we wanted to do in a process like this is stay consistent. So now I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to do the exact same thing I was making fun of. Let's see, in theory, what is going to happen. Assuming a historical growth rate of 8%, which is what the S&P 500 has done historically, here is where I will be in theory in 10, 20, 30 and even 40 years. In 10 years, I'll have invested 120,000 euro, and my portfolio value should be around 170,000. So I will be up around 50,000 euro. After 20 years, I will have invested 240,000 euro, and my investment value should be around 550,000, which will put me up in the ballpark of 300,000. After 30 years, I will have invested 360,000 euro, and my investment value should be around 1.3 million euro, and so my investment return will be around 1 million. And finally, after 40 years, I will have invested 480,000 euro. My investment value should be around 3.1 million, and so my investment return should be in the ballpark of 2.6 million euro. Now notice what is happening here. Over the course of each decade, the investment, my money out of the door, stays constant, no matter which decade. 120k in the first, 120 in the second, 120 in the third, etc. But as the decade progresses, my invested value grows exponentially faster and faster. And this growth comes from compounding interest, which basically means that the money you save will make you more money, and this eventually snowballs into exponential growth. The second essential ingredient in this projection is the investment strategy called the dollar cost averaging. the idea here is that we are forgetting to try to time the market. We are going to set a certain amount of money and set an interval, and we are going to invest that amount no matter what. Last thing I wanted to say is that this is not a get-rich-quick thing. Techniques like dollar cost averaging requires patience, time and consistency. But it is also highly reliable, as it made rich people like Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. Doesn't matter if you start in your 20s, 30s or 50s. Doing something like this will pay off huge dividends in the future, and the purpose of this video series is that I want to show people how it actually does, as opposed to just talk about what it could do. All the money I will use for this series will be invested in my Trade Republic account, so that I will be able to show you easily my progress month after month. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, it would be awesome if you can like or subscribe. It really helps us out, and be sure to check out in a few weeks, because next month I will be investing other 1,000 euro and I will explain what happened in between. Alright guys, until the next on, I'll see you soon. Cheers!